Welcome, my dear listeners, to English Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Danny, and today marks the beginning of an extraordinary journey. A journey that spans not just miles, but ideas. Not just time, but perspectives. We are embarking on a series like no other. Piece by piece, a 24-step journey to global harmony. Over the next 24 episodes, we'll be exploring the very fabric of peace, what it means, how it's achieved, and why it is essential for our collective future on this planet. Well, what I originally planned for Season 9 is to alternate between free and premium episodes to strike a balance between providing quality education and knowledge to everyone and to support the podcast and keep it going as a business. But piece by piece is definitely an exception. Because the things I would like to share with you are so important in my opinion that no single episode from this series will go behind a paywall. All the episodes in this series will be free because with all the voices calling for war around the world and with all the atrocities that are happening, English Plus and I have a message of peace that I would like to extend to everyone, hoping this message through Piece by Piece series gets heard, and who knows, it might change some minds as well. And as my good friend Rada told me the other day, let's do and talk about the right and good things. Troubles are coming by themselves. And indeed, evil in this world never takes a break, so we have no room to take a break ourselves. We will keep fighting for and supporting what we believe is right, and what can be more right than peace? We can get there. It's not a far-fetched dream, or as John Lennon said once, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Believe me when I say that we can get there step by step, or maybe I should say piece by piece. This series is not just a collection of conversations. It's a mosaic of the human experience pieced together through the lenses of understanding, empathy, diversity, and cooperation. From the cornerstones of building empathy and understanding our common humanity to the intricate workings of political structures that foster harmony, each episode is a thread in the larger tapestry of peace. We'll delve into dialogues that bridge divides, whether they're found in the realms of personal conflict or international disputes. Education will reveal itself as not just a path to knowledge, but as a road to compassion. Celebrating diversity will become an anthem for unity as we learn to find harmony in our differences. As we navigate through the economics of peace, we'll uncover how prosperity blooms from the seeds of cooperation. We'll hear the hushed tones of disarmament and witness how reducing global arms can amplify the sounds of peace. Healing historical wounds will guide us along the path of reconciliation as we confront the past to build a more peaceful present. The environment, art, religion, media, and technology, all these will be shown in their roles as peace builders, illustrating that peace is not an isolated goal, but an integrated outcome of many endeavors. We will highlight the power of youth, women, and inclusive governance as catalysts for change and growth. Food and sports will emerge as diplomats in their own right, creating stability and unity through shared needs and passions. The borderless world of healthcare and the conscientious approach of businesses will demonstrate that peace is not just a social or political aim, but a holistic one, touching every aspect of our lives. In the more somber cadences of our series, we'll reflect on the role of ceasefires, the pursuit of international justice, and the universal rights that bind us. And finally, we'll look to the horizon, to the concept of global citizenship and what it means to take that final pace towards a peaceful planet. Each episode is a step, each conversation a building block. Together, we will walk this path piece by piece, discovering that the journey to global harmony is not just a dream, but a possibility within reach if we dare to stretch our hands out to each other. So I invite you, join us on this expedition of enlightenment and aspiration. Whether you're a long-time advocate for peace or a curious mind eager to explore the depth and breadth of what peace really entails, this series promises to be an enriching experience that transcends boundaries and opens up new pathways to understanding. Here on English Plus Podcast, we're more than just a voice in your ear. We're a global community, a collective of souls seeking to understand, improve, and unify the world one step at a time. Welcome to Piece by Piece, a 24-step journey to global harmony. Let's begin. Welcome to English Plus Podcast, your beacon in the quest for knowledge and a sprinkle of wisdom in the vast ocean of information. I'm your host, Danny, and today we're stepping softly but firmly on the path of peace in our series, Piece by Piece, a 24-step journey to global harmony. In this episode, titled Foundations of Understanding, Embracing Our Common Humanity, we'll explore the rich soil from which peace can grow, our shared human experience. Imagine, if you will, a world that doesn't just coexist, but cooperates. A tapestry of cultures, colors, and creeds woven together by the strong yet gentle hands of understanding and mutual respect. Utopian? Perhaps. But the building blocks for this vision lie within a concept so innate, so intrinsic to our very being, that we often overlook its profound power, our common humanity. So what exactly is this common humanity? It is the acknowledgement that beyond borders and beliefs, we all share the same fundamental needs and aspirations. It's recognizing that every heart beats to the rhythm of survival, love, fulfillment, and, most pertinently for our discourse, the longing for peace. Now, embracing this concept requires a tad more than a casual nod of agreement, as one does when someone says, "The earth revolves around the sun," or "pineapple on pizza is a controversial choice." It's a deliberate effort to peel back the layers of our identity, not to erase the unique aspects that make us us, but to reveal the universal aspects that make us we. Let's start with the language of emotions. Whether you're from the highlands of Scotland or the beaches of Fiji, a hearty laugh or a somber tear speaks volumes. These emotions are the threads that bind the human narrative together. In the midst of laughter, no one stops to ask what political party you favor. And in the sharing of tears, there's no pause to consider the color of your passport. And what about the instinctual drive for a better life? This, too, transcends man-made divides. Parents across the globe, regardless of ethnicity or income, dream of brighter futures for their children. This isn't a cultural construct. It's a heartbeat of humanity. And in this common desire, we find a cornerstone for building peace. Let's consider the wisdom of a certain gentleman who had quite a bit to say about peace, Mr. Mahatma Gandhi. He noted, "Our ability to reach unity in diversity will be the beauty and the test of our civilization." Isn't that a striking thought? Our unity in diversity isn't just an aspiration. It's the litmus test of our collective progress. So, how do we begin to foster this unity, to build these foundations of understanding? It starts with the simple act of listening. Not just the passive nod-along kind of listening we might do while secretly replaying last night's game in our heads, but active listening. The kind where we engage fully, with open minds and hearts, eager to discover the stories, the hopes, and the dreams that resonate within another person's words. Education is another formidable tool in our kit. When we learn about other cultures, we often find that our different practices are variations on a theme. Consider the countless celebrations around the world that revolve around harvests, New Year's, and rites of passage. These events connect us to the earth, to time, and to each other across all lines of longitude and latitude. Empathy is the next piece of the puzzle. To put ourselves in another's shoes or sandals or snow boots, as the case may be, allows us to understand the journey others take. It's not about sympathy, which can create a sense of otherness, but empathy, which builds bridges and says, "I see you, I hear you, I understand you, and I stand with you. Now, amidst all this talk of unity and shared experiences, let's not forget to celebrate diversity. Recognizing our common humanity doesn't mean we all start humming the same tune and marching to the beat of one drum. Oh no, it's more like an orchestra where a multitude of instruments, each with its unique sound, creates a symphony that's far more beautiful than any solo performance. And in this orchestra of humanity, communication is key. It's not just about speaking, but speaking in a way that seeds understanding. This is where language, our very subject of expertise here at English Plus Podcast, becomes the conductor's baton. It directs the flow of conversation, the exchange of ideas, and yes, it can cue the harmonious chords of peace. Now, for a bit of humor, because who doesn't need a chuckle or a chortle when contemplating the weighty matters of the world? Think of language barriers like the autocorrect on your phone. Sometimes it's helpful, and other times it's hilariously disastrous. But when we make the effort to understand and be understood, we're essentially choosing to turn off autocorrect and really listen to what the other person is trying to say, typos and all. In grasping our common humanity, we might find that the walls we've built around ourselves, the walls of fear and prejudice, start to crumble. As they do, we'll see our neighbors more clearly. Perhaps the neighbor isn't someone who simply lives next door, but is also the farmer who grows the coffee beans we enjoy each morning. The scientist on the other side of the world whose research might one day save our life. Or the artist whose music soothes our soul. But let's remember, the path to global harmony isn't a sprint. It's more like a marathon, or perhaps even a relay race where the baton of peace is passed from hand to hand, heart to heart, across generations. And each of us has a role to play in that relay. Whether you're a teacher, a doctor, a carpenter, or a podcaster, each action taken in the spirit of understanding and respect is a step forward on the journey. And now I want you to take a moment to reflect on the rich tapestry that is our world. Imagine each thread as a life, a story, a piece of the puzzle that is our common humanity. It's in the understanding of these threads that we weave the blanket of peace that can cover the world, providing warmth and comfort to all. Well, that was all about the first step in our 24-step journey to global harmony, piece by piece. But that's not nearly the end of our conversation today. Remember, we are English Plus, and no episode is complete without delving deeper into some of the key words we used and also some key takeaways. That's coming next. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. In the riveting discourse from the English Plus podcast, a myriad of terms and concepts have been gracefully intertwined, painting a picture of peace and unity that's as grand as it is intimate. The lexicon of peace building is as diverse as the human experience it seeks to unite, and understanding these keywords is crucial for both the English learner and the peace advocate. One such term that echoes throughout the episode is common humanity. This concept transcends the mere acknowledgement of shared biological traits among humans, diving deeper into the shared experiences, emotions, and aspirations that bind us regardless of geographical or cultural divides. Common humanity is the fabric that weaves together disparate communities into a quilt of global harmony. Active listening stands out as another key phrase. It's a level of engagement that calls for full attention, an open heart, and a keen spirit striving to comprehend the words and the silences in between. In the context of our global village, active listening isn't just an interpersonal skill. It's a foundational tool for breaking down walls of misunderstanding that often separate societies. Empathy, a cousin to sympathy but with a more profound connection, is also a critical term. Where sympathy might express pity or sorrow for someone else's hardship, empathy delves into the emotional trenches with another, feeling with them and fostering a genuine understanding that surpasses mere acknowledgement of their situation. Diversity, celebrated within the episode as a source of strength and beauty, is not merely the presence of variety, but an appreciation for the unique qualities that each culture, community, and individual brings to the table. The symphony of humanity doesn't require homogeneity. Instead, it thrives on the distinct melodies each person contributes to the shared tune of existence. Finally, global harmony is the magnum opus we strive for, a state of the world where peace and cooperation aren't just fleeting moments, but perpetual states of existence. It's the ultimate destination of the podcast's journey, where every step taken is both a literal and metaphorical stride towards a more peaceful and united global society. Now, to weave these terms into the tapestry of takeaways from the episode, let's reflect on the profound messages delivered. We've unearthed the significance of recognizing our common humanity as the first stride toward lasting peace. We've heard the clarion call to practice active listening, not as a passive activity, but as an engaged effort to foster deep connections across all manners of divides. Empathy is highlighted as a beacon guiding us to more compassionate shores, where we stand in solidarity with others, truly understanding their perspectives and pains. In this global conversation, the celebration of diversity emerges not as an obstacle to peace, but as its very lifeblood, essential for the vitality and richness of our collective human experience. And as we march toward the vision of global harmony, we understand it's not just a dream, but a possible reality, created by our words, our deeds, and our commitment to this shared journey. In conclusion, the episode from English Plus Podcast isn't just a lesson in language, but a call to action, urging each of us to become artisans of peace in our everyday lives. With each term and concept internalized, English learners and peace advocates alike are equipped with the linguistic tools and the wisdom to construct a world where understanding reigns and peace is as common as the humanity we all share. And talking about action we can take, next we're going to talk about some action points we can consider based on what we talked about in this episode. So don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. In the vibrant exploration of peace and understanding from the English Plus podcast, a cascade of actionable wisdom is imparted, painting not just a picture, but a roadmap for how we, as a collective and as individuals, can navigate toward the serene shores of global harmony. The topic at hand is not a passive one. It demands action, reflection, and a willing heart to learn from its lessons. The narrative of embracing our common humanity offers a profound lesson that the journey towards peace begins with a shared step. We are all travelers in the sprawling odyssey of life, and it is through the recognition of our shared values, emotions, and dreams that we can begin to dismantle the barriers of division. Our first action, therefore, is to look within and find those universal chords that bind us with one another. Listening, a skill as old as time, is reinvigorated with new purpose as we learn that active listening is a form of respect, a bridge to understanding, and a gateway to empathy. It's an art that involves more than just our ears. It's the eyes, the mind, the heart, fully engaging with the person before us. We are urged to hone the skill, to make it a daily practice, ensuring that when we encounter different voices and stories, we are truly present and ready to receive them. Empathy, a jewel in the crown of human virtues, is emphasized as not just an emotional response, but a conscious choice, a commitment to walk with others in their moment of joy and struggle. It teaches us that peace is not a passive state, but an active pursuit, one that requires us to step out of our comfort zones and into the experiences of others. And as we embrace the varied colors of human experience, we find ourselves in a garden of diversity. To cultivate peace, we must nurture this garden, celebrating each unique bloom while recognizing that we all draw life from the same sun and soil. Learning about other cultures, languages, and ways of life is not just an enriching experience. It's a crucial step towards building a world where differences are not just tolerated, but valued. The overarching melody that plays throughout these actions is the pursuit of global harmony. It's not a lone endeavor, but a symphony of efforts where each of us is an instrumentalist. Whether through personal interactions, community involvement, or global initiatives, we learn that our actions, no matter how small, resonate within the larger context of the world's peace narrative. As we observe the rich tapestry of ideas presented in the podcast, we understand that each of us holds the power to contribute to a more peaceful world. It is through the everyday moments, choosing to listen, to learn, to empathize, and to celebrate the diverse beauty around us that we inch closer to that ideal of global harmony. So as we go forth from this auditory journey, let's carry with us the knowledge that our smallest actions can ripple outwards, creating waves of change. We learn that in embracing our common humanity, in perfecting the art of listening, in practicing empathy, and in celebrating diversity, we are actively building the foundations of understanding. This understanding is the soil from which the seeds of peace can sprout and flourish, branching out to canopy the world in the shade of serenity and harmony. Let's step forward with these lessons etched into our hearts, becoming not just learners of language, but also architects of peace. And finally, in our last part of this episode, we will talk about some of the common questions and misconceptions people may have about this topic. That's coming next. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. As the echoes of the English Plus podcast discourse on peace and understanding gently fade, it's natural that listeners' minds would be bustling with further inquiries and perhaps even hold onto some preconceived notions. That's a rich soil here for frequently asked questions and common misconceptions that often sprout when discussing such profound topics. Many wonder if peace is merely the absence of conflict. It's a common misconception to equate peace with silence, with no clashing of swords or words. However, true peace is more akin to a symphony, various sounds and rhythms converging into a harmonious whole. It's not the absence of noise, but the presence of a melody that respects and weaves together diverse tones. Another question that might arise is whether understanding truly leads to peace. Can we not understand another and still find ourselves at odds? Understanding is not a magical balm that immediately soothes all wounds, but it is the lens through which we can view our shared vulnerabilities and strengths. It is a crucial step on the ladder to empathy, which brings us closer to a harmonious coexistence. Then there's the notion of common humanity. Does it imply we're all essentially the same? This idea might lead to the myth that recognizing our common humanity erases the beautiful nuances of our diverse cultures. On the contrary, common humanity is about the shared ground upon which we all stand, the basic needs and feelings we all experience. It's not a dismissal of diversity, but an acknowledgement that at our core, we share something indescribably profound. And let's address a question about diversity itself. Is it a barrier to understanding? Well, there exists a myth that diversity creates confusion and discord. However, diversity should be seen as a mosaic, rich with potential for learning and growth. When we engage with diverse perspectives, we're offered a kaleidoscope through which to see the world, not a wall that blocks our view. Another frequent question is whether language barriers are insurmountable when building peace. Some might think that without a common language, understanding is out of reach. Yet our human story is filled with examples of connections formed across verbal divides, through the universal language of art, music, and yes, even silence. Language is a bridge, and where words fail, humanity speaks. People also ask if individual actions truly matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm just one person. Can I make a difference? This is a misconception as old as time. The reality is, the fabric of peace is woven one thread at a time, and every thread counts. Your choices, words, and actions are the ripples that can start a wave. So yes, you make a difference. Every one of us can make a difference. And there's also curiosity about whether technology aids or hampers the path to peace. In an age where we're digitally more connected yet emotionally distant, it's valid to question the role technology plays. Well, while it's true that technology can create chasms, it also has the unparalleled potential to connect us through continents, to share knowledge, and to forge understanding on a scale never before possible. So it's all about how we use it. If there is a problem caused by technology, or if there's a fault caused by technology, actually it is because how we use it, not because of technology itself. And it's often asked, how do we teach our children about peace? Well, the myth here is that peace is a complex, adult-only concept. Well, let me tell you that children's innate sense of fairness and openness are the very seeds from which a peaceful future can grow. Nurturing these qualities is both our responsibility and our gift to the future. So never say that your child will never understand when you talk about peace. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure that he or she will understand peace a lot more than we do. So sow the seeds, and this will really be your gift to the future. And here's another question. Can there be peace without justice? Well, this pressing question leads to the heart of many global issues. Justice is the cornerstone upon which the House of Peace is built. Without it, the structure may crumble. Now, while justice can be complex, its pursuit is necessary for lasting peace. In my opinion, you can achieve temporary peace without justice, but if you really want to achieve a lasting peace, you need justice to go along with it, hand in hand, and then you can achieve a lasting peace for you and for all the generations to come. And finally, there's this question, of course, that everybody asks, and some of you might even think that I'm a fool because I'm just talking about this, and I created an entire series to talk about peace. Is peace just a dream? Some might say that humanity is inherently conflict-driven and that peace is a utopian fantasy. Now, while conflicts are indeed a part of our narrative, so too is the relentless pursuit of harmony. When we see one side of humanity, we must see the other. To dream of peace is to be human. To act towards it is to be courageous. It is not just a dream. It's a possibility that is made real through every action we take towards understanding and unity. In weaving through these questions and misconceptions, we delve deeper into the complexities of peace and understanding. We find that our curiosities and doubts are not roadblocks, but rather stepping stones to greater awareness and action. As we unravel these inquiries, we're reminded that the journey of peace is not linear or simple. It's as layered and rich as the very concept of humanity itself. As we reach the close of this thought-provoking episode, it's important to remember that the journey towards understanding and peace doesn't end as the final notes of our time together fade out. In fact, it's just beginning. Every moment we have the opportunity to make choices that lead us toward a more harmonious future, both for ourselves and for the world at large. This is where the call to action becomes personal. It's a reminder that the steps towards global harmony start with individual commitment. Consider the conversations we've shared today, the ideas and questions that have been stirred within you. Now imagine taking that spark, that newfound understanding, and sharing it with the world around you. By actively practicing empathy, by celebrating diversity, by extending a hand across the divides that separate us, you become a beacon of peace. This is your mission, should you choose to accept it, to carry forward the spirit of unity and understanding in every word you speak and in every action you take. And as you carry this mission out into the world, remember that you're not alone. The English Plus podcast is a community, a gathering of minds and hearts committed to learning and growth. You can be an integral part of this community. By simply following the podcast and sharing it with your family and friends, you're helping to build a network of knowledge and connection. Each new listener you introduce to our community brings us one step closer to that ideal of global harmony we've discussed so passionately today. For those of you who are feeling particularly inspired and want to take your support to the next level, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Your support not only keeps this podcast thriving, but also unlocks a treasure trove of premium content. Imagine having access to an entire library of episodes where knowledge and insight await you, offering deeper dives into topics that matter to you. In showing your support, you're not just a listener, you're a pillar of a much larger movement. A movement toward a world where understanding reigns and peace is a reality for all. So take that step, become a patron, and immerse yourself in the wealth of learning that English Plus podcast offers. I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you for lending your ears, your minds, and your hearts to today's episode. The time we've shared is more than just a conversation. It's a piece of the bridge we're building together, a bridge towards a better tomorrow. Thank you for being a part of this journey, for being a part of this conversation, and most importantly, for being a part of the change we all wish to see in this world. Until next time, keep sharing, keep learning, and keep championing the cause of peace. This is Danny signing off from English Plus Podcast. Remember, piece by piece, we can transform our world.